Hello everyone, welcome to Agile Tech. Agile Tech. So in this paper, we're going to be looking at the Cambridge International AS and A level, okay, Information and Communication Technology, okay, with a course code 9626 variant oh 04. It's a paper 4 advanced practical. Okay, it's May June 2023, and this is a 2 hours 30 minutes paper. But what we'll focus for this particular episode is the spreadsheet. Okay, we're going to do others, but for this video, we're just going to focus on the spreadsheet. Okay, yes. So a special challenge, that's tax 3. Open branch data dot ods. So ods means open document spreadsheet. Okay, it is the open document spreadsheet contains certain details like charts, table, etc., etc. Okay, in a spreadsheet application, the workbook contains data on sales by staff at companies' branches in different countries. Examine each worksheet. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is the first thing I'm going to do right here is I'm going to extract it. Okay, I'm going to extract it, and please let me know in the comment section if probably you need the question paper and of course the source file, so I can just send them to you and you can practice along. Okay, so I'm going to click on this, right click, and then I'm going to click extract all. So I'm right here, I'm going to click on extract. Okay, so now it's extracted. Okay, so if I close it here, I can see it here as well that is extracted. Okay, so this is a compressed file and this is an open file. Okay, so now it's open. I'm going to open this here and then I have this branch data. So remember, we're opening the spreadsheet. So if I just double click on it, automatically it's going to open on the spreadsheet. Okay, so we have this. Okay, now we're going to examine between the worksheet. This is a workbook, and then we want to examine the worksheet. Okay, so this is one worksheet called the branch data, and this is a country code. So looking at this is going to be a lookup value. Remember, for the A levels, you can have it in your lookup, you could have it in your X lookup. Okay, so this is actually a lookup. I'm going to use the lookup function for this. Okay. Okay, so we have this. Okay, I'm just going to click here and then double clicks to ensure everything is every value and labels here are clearly visible. Okay, all right, so if I scroll down here, I have till 148. Okay, all right, number meeting target. Okay, so we have this. Okay, so let's see what the question is telling us to do right now. The branch data worksheet lists details of all the staff employed by the company, including the reference code of their branch. Okay, so here we have the worksheet listing details of the staff employed by the company, including the reference code of the branch. So let's look at it. Look, you can see that this is the reference code of all the employees. Okay, as what the question is telling us, these are staff employed by this company. Okay, let's say the company is branch data. Okay, all right, and here we are having the reference code for each of the brands. So this reference code can be that of in my case, I'm just going to make it I'm just going to put it like my country, for example. So this could be a reference code for the branch in Lagos. It could be the branch in Abuja. Okay, okay. In London, in England, it could be a branch in London. It could be a branch in um, um, Nottingham. Okay, a branch in Hull. Okay, just giving a citation here. Okay, now, the country code worksheet also, if we're going to open it, this is a worksheet here. Now, it says it lists all the countries where the company has branches, and there are 3-letter codes. Okay, and there are 3-letter codes. These codes are part of the reference code. Okay, so these codes here, if you notice, they are part of what the reference code. So we can have this, right, and this is the reference code for each of the countries. Right, in this case now, it is each reference code for is a company across the world, and the reference code of employees in each of the country. Okay, very, very important. Now, save the spreadsheet as branch data underscore followed by your center number underscore candidate number. Okay, so I have this. So what I'm going to do quickly is, obviously, in your exam is a physical copy, in your A level is a physical copy, and it's not an electronic copy. So, but for the sake of this practice, I'm just going to copy this. Okay, so I'm just going to just highlight it and just copy. So we have followed by a center number and candidate number. Okay. So because this is A level paper, it still doesn't change with my O level. It's still going to be the same center number. Okay, because it's just a generic center number. No school has it. Okay. So I'll click on file, click on save as, and I'm going to save it inside the source folder. Okay. So right here, I have it here. So I'm just going to paste on it. Just Ctrl V, that's what I did. Or you can just right click and then you paste, whichever one. And here I'm just going to edit it, and my center number is going to be AN017, and my candidate number is going to be 2023. Okay, now the save as type is going to be an Excel workbook and no longer an open document spreadsheet. Okay, so please let's take note of that. So I'm going to save it as an Excel workbook. Okay, so now I'm going to click on save. I always use a save as. All right. Now you will use the spreadsheet to calculate the total sales for each country. Okay, you're using the spreadsheet to calculate total sales for each country. Okay. Now you're required to provide evidence of your work when instructed. Create an evidence document. Name evidence underscore followed by your center number underscore candidate number. So I have this. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this, okay, quickly, and now right here I'm going to save it here. So I'll right click on new, and then click on what? The Microsoft Word document. Okay, so I'm going to right click and paste. So this is what I'll do. I'm just going to edit my center number to my generic center number. For you practicing along with me, you can just put your school center number. Okay, and my candidate number is going to be 223 as it has always been. Okay, so I'm going to open it right now and just quickly do this. Just make the margins 2 centimeters, and yep, it's A4, so it's fine. And I can just put evidence 1. Okay, just put it evidence 1 here. And now the next thing is, you're required to provide an evidence of your work when instructed. Create an evidence. Okay, all right, now here I can just insert my header here and just put in quickly my candidate details. Okay, agile nd comma en 017 comma 2023. Click here, delete, click here, delete. Okay, close, and then save. Now enter formulas in column F to extract the country code from the reference code. Okay, so we want to take, now this is a picture, so we want to take this country code here from the reference code. So how do we do this? Now to do this, the first thing we're going to do is we want to find, to know how we can get this. So we're going to use the function equals to find. And if you look at find, you see that it returns the starting position of one string with another word test string. Remember, find is what is case sensitive. Okay, find is what is case sensitive. So please, you need to know that it's very case sensitive. So what are we finding? The first thing we're going to do is, let's look for the dash right here, because we want to know how we can be able to get this. So we can do find, and what are we finding? We're finding in quote, I'm going to put in what? this dash, okay, which is the text that I want to find, right? Within the text. So I'm going to put a comma. Within the text is what? Here. Okay, and I'm going to close. And now it's going to show me what? 3. So within the text here is showing what? It's showing 3. Okay, so now the next phase is to find what? Now I want to find the middle. But I cannot find the middle with I cannot use the middle function without the find function. So to do this, to change this 3 to this, so I want to find this dash that has the AUT. And then there's after this is what? The AUT, which is 3. But we don't want 3 showing here. So what do? We need to use what we call the mid function, right? The mid function. So right here, I'm going to use MID. Now, what the mid function does is to return the characters from the middle of a text string, giving what? The starting position and what? The length. So it returns what? The character from what? The middle, right? It's returning the character from what? The middle of what? A text string. That's what it's doing. It's only what? The characters from what? The middle of what? The text string. Okay, so I have this. So what is the text that I want to do right now? So I have here my lead. Now the next thing is for me to what? Where is the text? This is the text here. The 3. Then comma. The starting number is where? The find. So I want to find this. So after this, that's what I want. Okay. So this is my starting number, comma. And then the next thing is, but remember, okay, let's go on. I'll show what to do. I'll tell you the next thing. The next thing is what? Number character. What's the number character you're looking for? 3. And then let's close and see what happens. Now, notice that you're going to have dash AU. I don't want to say anything. You have dash AU. Now, this is because while you are looking for the find, you find the dash. Remember, you want to find after the dash. Okay, you want to find what? After what? The dash. And this is where we have to use what? +1. Because when we did not, when we didn't do +1, it was just showing us dash AU. It's 3 you want to find, right? That's the number of characters you want to find. 3. But using +1 simply means you are incrementing after what? The dash. So if we hit on this, now we now have what? AUT. Okay, so now we have this, we can now what? Replicate. Okay, just double click on this and then automatically it's going to what? Replicate what? Across. Okay, so hope that makes sense. So now we have this. Moving on. Extract a list of the unique country codes from column F. So let's look at this. Where is column F? This is column F. Okay. Column F here. Now, and display the data in cell H9. So where is H9? So H9 is what? This H9. Now this is a name box that shows you the cell you are currently on. H9. Now, and below. Okay. Now, so we are to extract a list of what? The unique country codes. So now, this is the country codes here. So I'm going to shift control arrow down. I'm going to copy it, or you can right click and then click on copy, and then come here. I will just paste. I think this is better. Yeah, so I've extracted the using values. Okay, I think values is better because that's what I want. Remember, these were formulas. So I've extracted this. So now I've done this. Okay. Now the next thing is they said unique country codes. Take note of that. Unique country code. So it simply means that this is what I've given you as a sample. It has to be what? Unique. It simply means that they don't have to be any form of what? Redundancy. Okay, they don't have to be any form of what? Redundancy. So it has to be what? Unique. Okay, now to do this, they said provide evidence of your method in your evidence document. Okay, so let's do that. So what I will do here is I'm going to just highlight this. See that it's long. Okay, this. Or again, you could just use the keyboard shortcut Shift Control arrow down to select it. Now you're going to go to Data, and in Data you're going to click on what? Remove what? Duplicates. Okay, so the first method they said what? Provide evidence of your method. So what I did, the first method was to what? To highlight, and then I'll click what? This. So I'm going to do this. I'll take a screenshot of this. Okay, so I'm going to use the snipping tool. Okay, so I'm going to use the snipping tool here just to do this. Okay, no, let me quickly change it. That's not what I want to use. So picture, this is for video. I need the picture. Okay, so all right. Okay, okay, let me just use the keyboard shortcut then. I think the keyboard shortcut is better. Okay, so I have this. All right, so I'm going to paste this for evidence one, and I'll paste this. This is to show that I'm removing the duplicate of what? Of this. I show expand selection. No, this should be continue with the current selection. So I'm just going to take another screenshot of this. Okay, delete this one and paste this one. Okay, so I'm going to click on what? Remove what? Duplicates. And here, that's the next step is what? I'm choosing what? Country. Okay, so that's the next thing. Just gonna move it here. That's the next step. Okay, okay, then okay. Now they said 125 duplicate value found and removed. Okay, so 21 unique values remains. Okay, now if I scroll down and I have what? Till what? 29. So if you check the question paper, you're going to see that this is what is correct. So you now have 9 to what? To 29, which is what they were showing you before. All right, so the next question is use data in the country code worksheet to display the country represented by each code in cell what? I9. Okay, so what we are going to use, like I said earlier when they told us to analyze the worksheet, is to what? We're going to use a lookup. Okay, so we can use a lookup, we can use an X lookup, we can also use an index or a match function. All these are various functions we can use. They are valid formulas that we can actually what? Use. Okay, now to do this, I'm just going to use the S lookup. So I'm going to use, we can use the lookup, just the ordinary lookup, the S lookup, the index or match functions to do that. Okay, so the VLOOKUP is not going to work here. The S lookup on the other hand can work on both ways. There is no pattern and it has to go from this to this. It can just move anywhere. And I've also done a video on how to learn the X lookup and all the patterns of the S lookup. You see that right here at the description of this video. Okay, so let's move forward. So let me just use the lookup and then I can use the S lookup. Okay, so because some systems might not, some versions of Excel might not permit the S lookup, may not have the S lookup function embedded in that version. So obviously, if you don't have the S lookup, what do? You can actually use the lookup. So my lookup value is this. Okay, so I have this as my lookup value. okay, then comma, and then the lookup vector is going to be here, shift control arrow down, comma, then the return vector is going to be from here, shift control arrow down, and then I can close. Okay, so that will actually work if you're using what, the lookup. Okay, so I'm just going to use the s lookup. Okay, so for the s lookup I have lookup value, comma, the lookup array is going to be this. Okay, shift control arrow down, comma, return array is going to be this, right, which is the country name you want to return, shift control arrow down. Okay, and then I close, and then I have this. Okay, so here I can just double click, and then it's going to go down. Okay, so we have this. Calculate the total sale for each country as shown. Now the total sale for each country as shown. Now we want to calculate total sale for each of the country. Now using the sum function will be good, but then it's going to stress you a lot, because you have to look at for every of the employees, and let's say we have three Australian employees who have made sale. How then do you do that? So what you use is the sum if. Okay, you use the sum if. Now the range, okay, that you want is from what, the country. So I'm going to select this, shift control, I'm going to use the country code, shift control arrow down, okay, comma, what's going to be the criteria? Remember they said what, using data in the country code worksheet to okay, no, calculate that sale for each country as shown. Okay, so my criteria is going to be what, this, okay, comma, then the next thing is the sum range. The sum range is going to be this, shift control arrow down. Now remember, let's hit on enter first. So we have, what is this? Now if you check here, you see that it's the same. Now another thing is what I want to talk about is the absolute cell referencing. If we replicate this, we're going to have a lot of errors, because remember, it needs to show that if you have Australia, then carry out the sum the totals for Australia's, for Belgium, sum the totals for Belgium. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to highlight this, and then click on my keyboard Fn plus F4 to lock it in. So this becomes what, an absolute cell what, referencing. I'm going to do that here, highlight it, Fn plus F4 to lock it in, which makes it an absolute cell reference. So we're having two absolute cell referencing and one relative. The criteria it one needs to what, increment. Okay, if it's Belgium, if it's this, what happens? Okay, so I'll hit on what, enter. Now if I click on this, I can just double click and I have this. Okay, so at the end of the day, I have what is here. Okay, in cell J3, so let's go to J3. This J3 right here. Okay, enter a formula to display the number of countries that meet or exceed a sales target entered in cell H3. Okay, so let's do that. To display the numbers of countries that meet, or so we're just counting, right? Because we want to display numbers of countries that can meet or exceed a sales target. Okay, so if this is the sales target, how many countries have been able to meet it up? Okay, all right, I've been able to meet up that one target. So I'm going to use equals to count if. Now for the count if, I have what, the range. Okay, I have the range. Now what is the range? The range here is going to be what, I'm going to count this, shift control arrow down, okay, comma, then what will be the criteria? The criteria is going to be in quote, okay, greater than equals to, okay, if it's greater than equals to, okay, this, okay. Remember, I have, let me, this, okay, then this is what I'm going to do as much as possible. I'm going to put a quote here, another quote here. I'm going to take this off now, because the reason why I'm taking this quote off is because I want this quote to be what, in this what, in this operator, right, which is greater than or equals to. And then for this to work, I'm going to put what, an ampersand. Do you understand? So that if this is greater and this, if it's greater and this, that is from 200 and above, then do this. So I'm going to add an ampersand. Sorry, an and, that's an ampersand. Okay, and then I'll hit on what? Enter. So here I have what? 8. Do you understand this formula? So I have this as what? The total sales. Okay, this is the sales target, and then I have the criteria. So in this criteria is I have them greater or equals to what? This sales target, and equals to what? This sales target. Okay, so now we have to format it like this. Okay, so I have home, okay, bold, middle, and I'll put it here. Okay, the next thing is we're going to change it to this value, which is what, 220. So I'm going to click here and then put 220. So now we have what, 4. Let me see, this is 14. I'm going to make this 14 as well. Okay, okay, so now we have 4. Now automatically format the data for the countries that meet or exceed the state target as shown. We want to know those countries, right? Not just the formulas, but we want to know them. So what we are going to do right now is this. Let's say the countries that meet, okay, include the country code and of course the amount. So to do this, I'm going to click here, shift control right, then down. Then I'm going to click on a conditional formatting. Right, so the whole essence of the conditional formatting is just to ensure that if it meets all this certain specification or rule, then this is the color you're giving to it. Okay, is the profit, is the loss, or is it an expectation met? In this case, what are we using? We're using a red and a red fill and a what? A white what? Font. Okay, so I'm going to create a rule, new rule. Then use a formula to determine which cells to format. Okay, so I'm going to use a formula to then determine which cell that what I am going to what format. So what I'm going to use right here is I'm going to use this. Okay, so equals to J9. Okay, so if J9 is what greater than or equals to what this. Remember, it's the sales target. Okay, this is how we can get it to format it. Remember, we use this to determine if this is what greater than or equals to. And remember, this has to be what locked in. It has to be what absolute. Then I'll click on the format, and then my fill is going to be what red, and then my font color is going to be what white, and then I'll click on what OK. Now that I've done this, I'm going to click on what OK. Let's see what happened. Let me go to manage rules. Now notice that in this formula it says J9. This is J9. If J9 is greater or equals to what? Okay, j now equals, I just want to let me just close it so I can just close this again and just explain the whole process. Just go to manage rules and then click on edit. Now it's saying that j9 is greater or equals to what? 220. Now what this simply means is it has done its job, and remember this is absolute, so it's only going to stop in j9. It's not going to move on, but we want this to move so that it's going to what? Test for each what? For the sales target. So remember, the j is locked in. J is for what? For the columns, and 9 is for what? The rows. So both the columns and rows are what? Being locked in. So what I want is just to lock the column, but what? I don't want to lock the row because I want the rows to what? Increment. So I'm going to what? Take off what? The row. I hope that makes sense. So if I click on OK and now I click on apply, you can see that it is now what? Being what? Applied. Okay, so this is why it did not work, because we locked everything in, and we also locked in what? The row. Okay, so here we have this. Okay, so just to verify, this is okay. Add the data for the following persons. Given name. So let's do that. So given name. Just going to scroll down here. So given name is what? Can I copy this, guys? Okay, since it's not a physical copy, just right click and then I will just, okay, you know what? I'll just paste. The next one is family name. I'll copy. I'll just paste. The next one is what? The payroll number. So I'll copy and I'll paste. The reference code here, copy and I'll paste. The sales, I'll copy and I'll paste. You see? Okay. So now that we have done this, remember I just had to be sure that when I looked at this, it was just the same. I had family name, payroll number, reference codes, and then the sales. Okay. Now to have done that, make sure the new data has been included in the totals. So to do this, we're just going to add that formatting feature here. So what I'm going to use is, I call this the format painter. Okay, it's going to select the features of that cell to this cell. So I'm just going to click here and there we have it. So it makes it super easy for you using the format word painter. And now here as well, okay, so what I would do is I'm going to, the formula is right here, but just to explain the whole process, again, I have what? My meat. Okay, so what is the meat here? I'm just going to pick this. So right here, comma, then the start number is the find. Okay, and what are we finding? We are finding this in quotes. Okay, within what? Within this text. Okay, plus 1. Okay, numbers of character is what? It's 3, and then hit on enter. So now we have this. Okay, so I'm just going to do this. Okay, so now to ensure that you're here, okay, so what I would do is, remember this end in what? 148. Let's, so now I'm going to make it what? 149. Okay, just going to make this 149, including the range, and then the sum range also 149. So right here, what I would do is I'm just going to double click, and now we have 5, which is what? Sabia. Okay, so this is very, very important. All right, and then save your spreadsheet. Save your spreadsheet. Okay, so now we are done with this particular what? Task. Okay, so we are done with this particular task. So the next thing is what? Save your spreadsheet. And before we go, I want to talk about a very important YouTube channel called Agile Tech. Trust me, this YouTube channel is a giveaway. It's loaded with IGCSE, ICT, O level, AS, and A level. So trust me, you is a giveaway. This channel is helpful for your group studies, your personal studies, and it has a proven track record of producing excellent results. So do me a favor, click on the subscribe button, okay, and share this YouTube channel with your friend. Trust me, that will be the best gift that you're giving to them. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.